would want to do is just to thank the Turquoise Council of Americans and Eurasians and the Azeris Network, the Central Asia Caucasus Institute of SAIS, of Johns Hopkins University, and all of the sponsors for hosting this celebration, celebrating 20 years of relations between the United States and Azerbaijan. Let me, if I could, make a special greeting to His Excellency Ilin Shulamanov, we just had a few moments to speak a moment ago. Oh, there he is. I'm sorry. I was looking where we were talking, but I appreciate the conversation that we had, and want to just reiterate what I did to him, that more and more the relationship between the United States and Azerbaijan is not only more important to both of our countries, but it's more appreciated. And members of Congress have a large number of them have an understanding of the courage that you've shown in the region, of the tremendous ability that you have in being able to develop your own natural resources, and your willingness to work with the United States, and especially some of the security issues. Now, it's certainly true that one of the critical elements of national security is energy security, and we appreciate that, especially in these days of the Arab Spring and some of the instability that could represent. We're extremely grateful to you. Let me also, if I could, recognize a friend of mine, Adil Bagarov. I don't know if he's back here, but he and I came to South Russia in Ossetia some years ago for the tragedy there at Beslan, where the children were killed by the terrorist Basiev. And we understand Mr. Basiev won't bother anybody anymore at this point. But the reality is that that was one of the things that we joined with our friends in that whole region, mourning this horrible tragedy and recognizing that terrorism represents a threat to all of the human family. You know, Azerbaijan's not only been a leader in global energy production, it's been kind of one of the forefathers of a lot of the technology that occurred there. As it turns out, one of my very first jobs was on a drilling rig. And I ended up owning 3 drilling rigs at one time, and later became heavily involved in oil and gas. We do most of our work now in Australia and other places, but we at one time had a lease in Azerbaijan. So I was somewhat familiar with your efforts in the early days, and we really are impressed with how, unlike many of your regional neighbors there, you have developed a highly skilled workforce, and you've gone from back when, you know, the 19th century, when some of the oil and gas technology was first invented in Baku. You've come a long ways, and you've done some things that really distinguish you among your peers in the region. And of course, you know, back in those days, it was a key goal for the Nazis to they wanted to develop, cause Britain to develop Operation Pike to keep the Baku area from falling into Hitler's hands. And today, the development of our friendship has allowed U.S. and NATO aircraft to benefit from landing, overflight, and refueling flights in Azerbaijan, which is critical to our missions in the region. Now, I'm currently a member of the Defense Security Caucus, and it essentially is designed to help raise awareness on the issues that are very important to us. But Azerbaijan is without a doubt one of the most important partners in energy security of the United States. I lived through the 1970s when we had problems with OPEC, and because you're not one of the OPEC members, we see your alternative to OPEC in terms of our security needs in terms of energy. We see that as very vital. And again, it's hard for me to continue just to repeat the importance of our relationship, but it is important. And I know that you have some very large gas fields. I know the Shah Deniz field is one of the many gas fields in Azerbaijan, but it's one of the largest and most important gas condensate fields in the entire world. And adding to significance of that, of course, is your plans, or the plans for the expansion of the South Caucasus pipeline. We think that is very critical and hope that that continues, because it not only impacts Americans' security in terms of our energy needs, but it also affects our allies in a huge way. So let me just say to you, in closing, that energy security in the Caspian Sea highlights a key aspect of our relationship with all of you. Azerbaijan's status as a major player in oil and gas provides the U.S. a strategic partner and a trusted ally in our search for diversification of energy resources. And I just want to look forward to with all of you to foster this relationship and to recognize that we do indeed live in a dangerous world. And these are years in which our children will wonder how we stood up to the challenges that we faced in the world today. These are times when terrorism and jihadist ideology could affect all of us in some very profound ways. And it's important that those who love freedom and love the cause of humanity stay very close together. Because if we stand together, we will be all right. We'll work out. Give you a little quote that happened many years ago when England was being in an existential attack by a holy war attack from the King Philip's Armada. Looked like there was no hope. And she came out to her troops because they were facing an invasion that just looked overwhelming. And she said, "We see the sails of the enemy approaching. We hear the guns over the water. Soon now we will meet them face to face. But I am come out here among you all to live or die among you if necessary. While we stand together, no invader will pass. Let them come with the armies of hell, they will not pass. And when this day of battle is over, we meet again, in heaven or on the field of victory." And I want you to know that America has a greater understanding of Azerbaijan all the time. You've been faithful for 20 years, and there is affection for your people and for your courage, and I hope we continue to work together and make sure that our children get to walk in the sunlight of freedom and a better life than we have. And working together, we can do that. God bless you all. Thank you very much.